I just feel like you're a queen. You shouldn't have to talk to peasants. You're you.
Drika, how would you describe Cassie's demeanor when she took the stand today?
When she walked in there, Rachel, she had on a brown dress, form-fitting, visibly pregnant, head held high, and did not make any eye contact.
Nicki Minaj passed Diddy, but at what cost? This revelation has sent shockwaves through the entertainment world, with whispers of betrayal, survival, and secrets too dangerous to be spoken aloud. What seems, at first glance, to be a simple professional split between two iconic figures quickly unravels into a tale so dark, so twisted, that it raises questions about how far someone might go to save themselves from a crumbling empire. We're diving deep into the shadowy past of Sean Diddy Combs, and the calculated decisions of Nicki Minaj, decisions that may have helped her escape from a web of scandal, manipulation, and control.
Two women who said that they had been abused, saying it happened decades ago, and they thought that they could look at the evidence in this case, which is about assault, and view it fair and unbiased based on what comes into the courtroom. And one woman who is proceeding said she was arrested when she was 16 for shoplifting at Harry Potter's World at Universal Studios. The judge asked her what she stole. She said it was...
Let's start with the undeniable. Diddy's name has become synonymous with power. For decades, he wasn't just a music mogul, he was an empire in human form, commanding loyalty, fear, and admiration in equal measure. But behind the glitz and glamour of his multi-million-dollar business ventures lies a darker narrative. Recent allegations paint a chilling picture of a man who allegedly turned his empire into a machine of exploitation and control. From orchestrated freak-offs to accusations of coercion, trafficking, and violence, the charges against Diddy are as damning as they are disturbing. And here's the kicker, Nicki Minaj, once a trusted protege, was right there in the thick of it.
Today in a New York federal courtroom, Sean Diddy Combs told the judge he was, quote, a little nervous. The rap mogul's criminal trial began this morning. He is trafficking, racketeering, and more.
We remember the early days of Nicki's career, don't we? Back when her star was just beginning to rise, Diddy was one of the first major players to throw his weight behind her. He managed her, mentored her, and, to the outside world, seemed like a key figure in shaping her trajectory. But was that relationship as supportive as it appeared? Or was Nicki, like so many others in Diddy's circle, caught in a system of control so meticulously crafted that it blurred the lines between opportunity and manipulation? Here's where things start to get murky. Over the years, Diddy's management of artists has been the stuff of legend, and not always in a good way. Former collaborators have described an environment where loyalty wasn't just expected, it was demanded. And loyalty in Diddy's world often came at a steep price. Could Nicki's decision to pass Diddy, to distance herself from him entirely, have been more than just a savvy career move? Could it have been an act of self-preservation?
Because we now know who all the prosecutors will be on Diddy's trial. They're all women. They have assembled a team of female prosecutors, and that is definitely not by accident.
Let's look at the timeline. Nicki Minaj's relationship with Diddy seemed to sour around 2011 when she abruptly left his management team. At the time, she framed the decision as a business move, but recent events cast a new light on that choice. Did Nicki see something back then that the rest of the world is only now beginning to understand? Was she aware of the alleged inner workings of Diddy's empire? The parties, the coercion, the whispers of criminal activity? And if she was, what did it take for her to break away?
Unfortunately, we're all going to take a disgusting trip to his seedy, awful world. You know, the man has no class. He has no kindness in his dark, dark heart. And he's depraved. That's my opinion. This is a depraved, disgusting individual about whom I wish to hear nothing after this trial is done.
It's no secret that Diddy has always been a master of appearances. For years, he maintained an image of untouchable success, throwing opulent parties, rubbing shoulders with A-listers, and projecting an aura of invincibility. But behind the scenes, prosecutors claim, he was orchestrating events that were anything but glamorous. Those infamous freak-offs, bizarre, multi-day encounters allegedly involving coercion, substances, and male companions are now central to the federal case against him. And here's the chilling part, some speculate that Nicki Minaj may have been a witness to these events. Could she have been present at those gatherings, silently observing as Diddy's darker side came to light?
Let's talk about the filth that's starting to come out in the early days of the Diddy trial. This, of course, is P. Diddy. Surprise, surprise, he's a creep. Surprise, surprise, he's done horrible things.
We've seen the signs of Nicki's quiet rebellion. In recent years, she's taken deliberate steps to erase Diddy from her narrative. She unfollowed him on Instagram, avoided addressing his mounting legal troubles, and steered clear of any public association with him. These might seem like small gestures, but in the world of celebrity where social media is everything, they speak volumes. Was this her way of sending a message? A subtle acknowledgement that she wanted no part in the chaos surrounding him? But if Nicki did, in fact, know more than she let on, that raises an uncomfortable question. Was she ever directly involved? The allegations against Diddy are vast, ranging from trafficking to forced encounters to substance distribution. Prosecutors claim that he used his associates and collaborators to carry out his bidding, pressuring them to transport substances, find victims, and cover up his crimes. Could Nicki, during her time under his management, have been roped into these schemes? Was she asked, or perhaps forced, to play a role in his shadowy operations? And if so, how close did she come to being trapped in the same web that has now ensnared so many others?
So Diddy, after the Cassie lawsuit, gets hit with a bunch of lawsuits, and then ultimately the raids, and then this criminal case.
Let's not forget, Diddy's legal troubles are no longer just rumors whispered in the dark. They're front-page news. The charges against him include accusations of trafficking, coercion, and even racketeering. Several women have come forward with harrowing testimonies describing how they were allegedly manipulated and abused under his watch. One ex-girlfriend, known only as Jane, testified in court that Diddy pressured her into participating in degrading acts while under the influence of substances. Others have described a network of enablers who helped orchestrate and conceal these activities, ensuring that his power remained unchecked. Could Nicki have found herself in a similarly precarious position during her time with Diddy? The thought is almost too disturbing to entertain, but the pieces of the puzzle are there. Perhaps she realized early on that staying in Diddy's orbit would mean sacrificing her autonomy, or worse. Perhaps she saw the writing on the wall and chose to escape before it was too late. But if that's the case, what did she leave behind? And more importantly, what does she know?
Jurors heard testimony from a key prosecution witness in Sean Diddy Combs' federal trial in New York City Tuesday. His ex-girlfriend and singer Cassie Ventura spoke about her 10-year relationship with Combs and the psychological, physical, and abuse she says she endured. Ventura first leveled accusations against Combs in a 2023 lawsuit, which was settled a day later. Dozens of men and women have filed suits against him since 2020.
The whispers about Nicki's connection to Diddy have only grown louder in recent months. Some speculate that she holds key information about his alleged crimes, information that could potentially blow the case wide open. Others suggest that her silence is a deliberate choice, a way to protect herself from the fallout. After all, speaking out against someone as powerful as Diddy comes with its own set of risks. But here's where things get even more tangled. Rumors are swirling that Nicki may have played a role in leaking damaging information about Diddy to the press. Could this be her way of seeking justice from the shadows, without putting herself directly in the line of fire? And then there's the matter of loyalty, or the lack thereof. Diddy has always prided himself on the loyalty of those around him, but as his empire crumbles, we're starting to see cracks in that foundation. Former allies are turning against him, testifying in court, sharing their stories, and exposing the dark underbelly of his operation. Is Nicki's silence a form of loyalty, or is it a calculated move to distance herself from the chaos? Could she be holding on to secrets that would not only implicate Diddy, but also reveal uncomfortable truths about her own past? One thing is certain, Nicki's decision to pass Diddy wasn't just a career move, it was a survival strategy. But survival comes at a price, and the question remains, what did she leave behind when she walked away? What secrets is she still keeping, and could she be the key to unlocking Diddy's darkest truths? And here's where things take an even darker turn. Rumors have long swirled about Diddy's so-called blackmail vault, a collection of incriminating material allegedly gathered over decades. Whispers from insiders suggest that this treasure trove of secrets contains everything from compromising photos to audio and video recordings of high-profile figures who attended his infamous freak-offs. The idea is chilling. What if Diddy's empire wasn't just built on music, clothing lines, and nightlife, but on the secrets of the rich and famous who found themselves trapped in his orbit? And what if Nicki Minaj, in her bid to escape, was all too aware of what might be locked away in that vault?
But she was only on the stand for about 30 minutes, and the big takeaway is this story that she tells regarding the email she got from her daughter in December of 2011. This is where Cassie Ventura writes her mother and another person explaining or expressing that that Sean Puffy Combs, she said, threatened to put out explicit videos of her. Again, this is around the holiday time, and also saying that he would do something to the person that she was.
Think about it. Nicki's silence, her calculated moves to sever ties, and her refusal to publicly engage with Diddy's scandal could all point to one thing: self-preservation. Could there be something in that vault about her? A moment from her early career, a situation she couldn't control, or perhaps even footage that Diddy could use to keep her in line? It's impossible to say for sure, but the mere existence of such a vault raises the stakes for everyone involved. If Diddy's secrets come to light, it won't just be his life and career that crumble. It could take down others who thought they'd escaped unscathed. And here's where Nicki's story takes another intriguing twist. There's a growing theory that her decision to cut ties with Diddy wasn't just about escaping his shadow, but about protecting herself before the walls closed in. What if she knew the vault existed and acted preemptively, distancing herself before the contents could be used against her? After all, Nicki's one of the smartest and most strategic forces in the entertainment world. She's built an empire of her own, and it's hard to imagine her making any move without considering every possible outcome.
Centerpiece of a lot of what happened during direct testimony were freak-offs. And what the prosecution tried to show was that he forced and/or coerced her into doing these freak-offs. And we've talked about this earlier this week, that at least my opinion is that in a lot of these, the prosecution just didn't close the loop. It was something she felt.
But here's the thing. What if Nicki's silence isn't just about fear? What if it's about strategy? Some believe she's not just running from the fallout, but actively working to bring Diddy down. Remember the alleged audio leak of Diddy and Meek Mill? It's been widely speculated that Nicki was the one who recorded and released it, a move that many see as calculated and deliberate. If true, it would mean that Nicki isn't just a bystander in this drama. She's playing the long game, dismantling Diddy's empire piece by piece without implicating herself. And let's not forget Cassie's testimony, which has already sent shockwaves through the industry. Her allegations about Diddy's coercive tactics, his manipulation, and his obsession with control paint a horrifying picture. Cassie's bravery in coming forward has opened the floodgates, with more and more women stepping into the spotlight to share their stories. Could Nicki, as one of the most powerful women in the industry, have quietly encouraged others to speak out? Could she have used her influence behind the scenes to help expose Diddy's crimes without putting herself in the line of fire?
When it came to the explicit videos, the prosecution asked her, what was your reaction to hearing that your daughter said she was concerned about those explicit videos? When it came to this idea that Cassie was saying, Mom, Sean Combs is threatening to put out explicit videos of me, she said her reaction to that was she was physically sick, and that she said, quote, the tapes through me.
The most recent developments in Cassie's testimony have been nothing short of harrowing. She recounted in excruciating detail how Diddy allegedly forced her into a pattern of submission that spanned years, isolating her from friends and family while maintaining a facade of luxury and privilege. Cassie described being manipulated into attending orchestrated gatherings where every moment was controlled, from the people present to the substances consumed, with Diddy allegedly dictating every decision. She claimed that the fear of retaliation kept her from speaking out for so long, as she watched other women who attempted to resist him face threats and intimidation. These testimonies have added even more weight to the allegations against Diddy, painting a portrait of a man who wielded his power to trap those around him in a constant state of fear. One of the most shocking claims Cassie made in court was about Diddy's alleged use of recording devices during these freak-offs. She revealed that cameras were often hidden in plain sight, capturing moments of vulnerability to be used as leverage later. Cassie suggested that these recordings weren't just for Diddy's personal collection, but were part of a larger strategy to control and silence those who might speak against him. If this is true, it could explain why so many of his alleged victims remained silent for so long. The idea that these recordings might still exist and that they could contain footage implicating other high-profile individuals is enough to send shivers through the entire entertainment world.
And what's really going to be interesting is the parade of celebrities who we expect to be mentioned and or called into that courtroom. People who we hadn't heard about prior, like Mike Myers, Austin Powers, Mike Myers. Why is he getting called? Why is he on the witness list? That'll be fascinating. And then, of course, there are the no-name, quote unquote, women who are going to have to find every ounce of courage they have.
Cassie also testified about the immense psychological toll these experiences took on her, describing how her sense of self was systematically eroded during her relationship with Diddy. She spoke about feeling like a pawn in his larger games of control, with her every move dictated by his whims. Over time, she said, it became impossible to distinguish between her identity and the role he forced her to play. The emotional scars left behind by this manipulation are evident in her testimony, which has become a rallying cry for others to come forward. Cassie's words have resonated deeply with countless individuals who see echoes of their own experiences in her story, further amplifying the pressure on Diddy and his legal team. What's even more disturbing is Cassie's claim that Diddy allegedly used his network of enablers to ensure compliance from those in his orbit. From assistants to security staff, she described an ecosystem designed to protect Diddy at all costs, ensuring that his demands were met without question. These enablers, she said, not only facilitated his actions, but actively contributed to creating an environment where no one dared to speak out. This revelation has raised questions about the complicity of those who worked for Diddy, with many now wondering how deep the rot truly goes within his organization. Cassie's testimony has made it clear that this wasn't the work of one man alone. It was a system, carefully constructed and ruthlessly maintained.
And again, just to reiterate what is a freak-off, the freak-off essentially was something that Cassie said she learned about through Sean Combs about a year into their relationship. He described it as voyeurism, wanting to watch her have sex with someone else. And she said that she did it because she was 22, 21, she was young, she didn't know any better, and that she wanted to please Sean Combs.
The fallout from Cassie's testimony has already been significant, but it's likely to grow even more explosive as the trial continues. Her courage in sharing these details, despite the personal risk involved, has inspired others to step forward with their own stories, further strengthening the case against Diddy. And yet we can't help but wonder, how much more is there to uncover? Could the secrets Cassie alluded to in her testimony be just the tip of the iceberg? If even half of what she's claimed is true, then the entertainment industry is standing on the brink of a scandal that could change it forever. It's a tantalizing idea, but it also raises another question. Was Nicki herself a victim of Diddy's control? We know he allegedly used his power to manipulate and intimidate those around him, and there's no reason to believe Nicki would have been immune to that. During her early career, when she was still finding her footing, could she have been forced into situations she later regretted? Could she have carried those secrets for years, knowing that revealing them would mean risking everything she'd built?
Prosecution, I believe, was trying to show that level of control that they talked about at the very beginning of this case. And then to see that her family talks about being intimidated and fearing for Cassie's safety, and that's why they sent the money, they said, because they were really concerned. We also learned that the mother's the one who said, you know what, I want to take pictures of this abuse. Again, the mom said she did not know about that.
And then there's the matter of timing. Diddy's legal troubles didn't just appear overnight. They've been building for years, with lawsuit after lawsuit piling up. Was Nicki watching all of this unfold, waiting for the right moment to make her move? Her silence on his scandals, her decision to unfollow him on Instagram, her careful avoidance of any public connection to him. It all feels too deliberate to be a coincidence. Could she have been quietly preparing for this moment, ensuring that when Diddy's empire fell, she wouldn't be dragged down with it? But here's the twist. Nicki's distancing from Diddy might not protect her forever. If the rumors about the blackmail vault are true, and if its contents are revealed in court, it could bring secrets to light that no one is prepared for. The fallout wouldn't just affect Diddy, it could ripple across the entire entertainment industry, exposing high-profile figures who thought their secrets were safe, and if Nicki is among them, her carefully crafted image could be at risk. Imagine what that would mean. Nicki Minaj, the queen of rap, the ultimate boss, suddenly caught in the crossfire of a scandal she tried so hard to escape. It's a scenario that feels almost too dramatic to be true. But in the world of celebrity, where truth is often stranger than fiction, anything is possible. Could we see a side of Nicki that's been hidden from the public for years? Could the trial force her to confront her past in ways she never anticipated? One thing is certain, Diddy's empire is crumbling and the fallout is far from over. As the trial continues, more and more secrets are likely to emerge and the implications could be devastating. If Nicki Minaj thought she could escape the storm, she may be in for a rude awakening. Because when Diddy's empire falls, who else will fall with it? Let us know what you think in the comments below. Is Nicki Minaj a mastermind, a victim, or both? Don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications. We'll be back soon with even more jaw-dropping updates. Until then, stay safe and stay curious.